Hello. Tony.
Hi, Mario.
Hi, I see you travel with my granddaughter.
Yeah, it was wonderful. We saw Elsa, right? Elsa.
Yeah.
She was bringing her daughter. She's going to seminary. Yes, we saw her. It was very nice. There were many girls on the flight.
Yeah?
Yes, many. Now's the time for them to go to Israel.
Yeah.
It's very warm here.
Oh,
Now
here-
that's why I'm sitting outside.
Now it's like 85, 88 outside. Now.
Oh, at 9 o'clock at night. A heat wave, huh?
Oh, during the day it was
Is
in
it-
the 90s.
Oh, is it humid? Is it not didn't really cool down?
It's dry, but still hot. Very hot.
So where is everybody?
I don't know. They all know.
Well, Harold and Walter were just on the shear with us.
Yeah, he wasn't on the service here, so was Harold. Well, he said,
Yeah. Very interesting regarding the use of having a cell phone on your person when you daven. It was a very interesting discussion.
where?
Huh?
I didn't hear the last end because I was changing my speaker.
I said that we had this discussion whether you can have a cell phone on your body during
Oh,
davening.
yeah. I was here. I was listening.
Yeah, very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting this halachic discussion regarding the cell phone. Okay, Ranun Gimel. Yes.
You changed positions. Are you cold over there with that sweater? It's so hot over here. It's crazy.
No, this is not. This is like a. No, this is like a.
Light.
This is like. Yeah, this is just lounging wear.
Okay. How was your trip?
Right
Okay.
now, the trip beautiful trip. A lot of seminary girls were on our flight.
Yeah.
My granddaughter Walter.
Yeah, Mario's granddaughter was on the flight.
Nice.
David Rubin and Steve Uzdan were on our flight.
Oh wow.
And it's very hot. So right now, it's 7 o'clock in the morning in Yerushalayim. So it's nice. That's why I'm out here on the balcony now.
over
I'm seeing
here,
it like in Israel.
it's 88 degrees. I'm sitting outside.
Wow.
88 outside.
So I was wrong, really. I said 81. It's 88. Wow.
It's 88. It's very
So
hot.
the whole world is in a heat wave.
Okay.
So Ranun Gimel 53, that Yehuda Bar Meremar was going to the same place where Rav Papa was going. Rav Yehuda Bar Meremar went outside to greet Rav Papa, and then Rav Papa was going to enter the home of Abasura. Abasura was making a wedding for one of his daughters, and he was going to write the ksuba. And remember, we're dealing with this issue that they were advised to write some of their assets to the daughter while they're alive, as a way for the inheritance. Rav Papa noticed that Yehuda bar Meremer didn't want to enter. Amalei my daita. What's your issue? Mishum Damalei Shmuel Rav Yehuda Shinana Lotevi Babur Achsant Afilim Mibrabisha Lebrotava. Don't be present or a partner if a father tries to remove the Yerusha from one son to another, even if the one son is evil. You shouldn't do that. Nobody knows what ancestors will come out of somebody's children. So maybe out of the Ben Ra will come fantastic children. So you should give the Yerusha equally to all the sons. The Kolsha can be brought Barta. And certainly you should not participate in transferring Yerusha from sons to daughters. And maybe you're not going into the house because you're concerned that Rabbi Abasura is going to give a big Nadunya to his daughter. But why that shouldn't be a problem. But just like over there was a reason why it's not a problem to be present when you, that means there was a reason why you shouldn't participate when you transferred Yerusha from one son to another, because there's always children coming, good children coming from even a bad child. Here also, there might be a good reason why it's a good thing to transfer Yerusha from a son to a daughter. Like we said, that it should be other grooms, potential chassanim, will jump and marry them because they have a nice nadan. Fine. That's if he does it out of his own. But me coming in to his house might force him to do it. And I don't want to force him. If he wants to do it on his own accord, great. So Rav Papa told Meremar, I didn't tell you to come inside with me to force him. Come inside and sit quietly. Don't say anything. My presence is going to be, for my covet, he's going to give a bigger nadan. However, but Rav Papa forced him to go, and he entered. And ishtik v'yosef. And Yehuda bar Meremer was quiet, he sat quietly. Savarahu, but Abasura thought that Mirtach Rotach, that he was angry with him. So so he wrote all of his assets to his daughter. When it was all over, and Yehuda was still quiet, so Abasura said to Yehuda bar Meremer, are you still upset with me? Look how much I gave to my daughter. Like he took an oath that I didn't keep anything for myself. If it was up to me, I wouldn't have you have written anything. Oh, once Abasura understood that, I'm like, fine, I'll go back on what I said. You're not allowed to, once you say something, you're going to be, if you change your mind, you're going to be like the people who say things that are choizer mediburo. Okay, so you can't change your mind, but in general, I wasn't. That's halacha, that you shouldn't be present at a place where a person transfers his Yerusha, from one son to another. But we don't force a father to give a big nedunya. If he wants to do it on himself, he can do it. Boyman Rav Yemer Saba Rav Nachman. Rav Yemer the elder asked from Rav Nachman, Machra Kesubos Daf. A woman needs money for some reason. And she wants to sell the rights of the right to receive her ksuba if she is divorced or if she becomes a widow. That what she's selling is, you won't have to pay me. Now the din is yesh la ksubas b'nin dichrin or ein la ksubas b'nin dichrin. This special clause in the ksuba, where any gift she got from her father, she gets to transfer to her male children, does she sell that right too? Or is that right immune from her ability to sell the rights to the ksuba to her husband? Why don't you ask the question about an isha who doesn't sell it? She's moichel the rights to her ksuba to her husband. What is the status of the ksubas b'nin dichrin? Amr lei. He answered, Hashta mocheres k'mebayli. There's a shaila regarding selling the afal gav the ikle zuzi ansu, because there's a svart to say, listen, due to the need for cash, she sort of was forced to sell. Damina command mea uchli be'uchla. It's like somebody being beaten 100 times, and he does something only because he's being beaten. And still, I don't know what to do about the ksubas b'nin dichrin. Mochelas me boy. Would there be any shaila regarding mochelas? If she's moichel everything for her from by herself through her ratzon. There, I would think there would be no question that the ksubas b'nin dichrin would be sold. If she sells the ksuba to a third party, that means a third party buys the right that if she becomes divorced or widowed, he would collect the money. There, she would still retain the right of the ksubas b'nin dichrin. Those assets that came to the father would flow to the sons. That we could answer. My time is Zuzi Ansu. Well, the whole reason she's selling is because she needs cash. So that she's going to sell, but the ksubas b'nin dichrin she won't sell. However, moichelas ksubos l'bayla ain't la ksubas b'nin dichrin. If she's moichel the ksuba to her husband, not selling it, but she forgives it, then she forgave the ksubas b'nin dichrin. My time because she gave it up. She's not requesting from the husband anything.
She allowed to stay with her husband if she sells her ksuba to her husband. She allowed to, so she has no ksuba. So she started to stay with her husband.
The Shulchan Aruch said, the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch say, "Hamocheres ksubas bein labayla bein lacherim, lo hifsida ksubas b'nin dichrin kemaskona shel Rava, aval hamocheres ksubas labayla hifsida b'nei b'nin dichrin." Doesn't say anywhere that they have to be divorced.
We know a woman doesn't have a ksuba. She lost her ksuba.
So the Rif asks, "Keitzad yichol ha'isha limchol ha'ksubas ve'osir la'adam la'ashois ha'isha lo ksuba v'tiritz shalina lomar shemeduber kan shemachla eschusa legabe ha'yorshim la'achar misoso." Only regarding the rights that the yorshim had after his death. But in a chanami, during his lifetime, she wouldn't be able to sell it. Or she was moichel only the toisefes ksuba. But the Mona Masayim would have to stay. Or the Pnei Yeshua says he has to write her a second ksuba. Or there was a second, he wrote her a second. Af hoisif sheyesh lemesh kasher koisif lo ksuba shniya lo bizman anasur meshum kasher avia noisin lo nadunya but latam shel ksuba b'nin dichrin. Right, that's for ksuba b'nin dichrin. Okay, so the Rif answered the shaila.
Yeah.
Boy Rava. Moicheres Kesubos Labaila. Kemoicheres Lacherim Dami. He clears a shaila when you sell it to your husband. Is it like you sold to other people, third parties, and therefore you kept the Kesubos Medichrin? Or is it like being moichel? Basur the boy, after he asked the question, Hadar Pashta, he answered, when you sell it, not when you're moichel it, but you sell it to your husband, it's like you sold it to Acherim, and therefore the nafkamina would be the Kesubos Medichrin would be retained. Masif Ravidi Baravid, Mesa, let's say she dies. I'm sorry. A woman's husband goes to China, and one aide comes and says he died. She went ahead and married another guy. And then the husband came back. So both the first husband and the second have to give her a divorce. And there's no ksuba. And then over there it says Mesa, if she dies, ein yorshim silzev, ein yorshim ksubasa. Not the yorshim of the first husband, not the yorshim of the second husband inherit her ksuba. I mean, what's this ksuba here? We said she doesn't have a ksuba. Amrav Papa ksubas bin dichrin. We're talking about the part that go to the male children. Those children don't inherit her. So why not say that her yetzer forced her because she wanted to marry that other guy? So why isn't it considered like onus? So the Gemara says it is, but knasu the kanser rabbanon. They made a knas that she has to be careful not to marry, somebody. She has to recognize that she may lose all her zchuyas. Yosef Ravin Barchanik Kamid Rav Chizdav Yosef Kamish Meir Rav Eliezer Marchelek Subas L'Bayla Ein La Mezonos. If she's moichel the ksuba, she doesn't get mezonos from him. Armelei Ilav the Karmet Mishmei de Gaver Rabba Havaminaloch Meishiv Rotach Astovel Otomash Rami Beso. If you didn't tell me that this was said from in the name of a big person, I would have thought it's a bad thing. But the din is, we're talking about after his death, not while she's alive. If she's moichel the ksuba to her husband, she gives up the mezonos after his death. But during his lifetime, he has mezonos. Like we said before, the thing, like the Rif said, the things during his lifetime still exist. Some say, the Rambam says she even give up the mezonos even in his lifetime. Yosef Rav Nachman Vula Vavimi Bar Rav Papi, Rav Nachman Ula and Avimi were sitting. The Yosef Rav Chia Bar Ami Gabayri, Rav Chia was sitting with them. Also, Gavra de Shchiva Arusaso, a woman that he had given kiddushin died. Armile Zil Kovar. They told them, go bury her. Oh, Havlik Subasa, or give to the Yorshim the Ksuba, they can bury her. That when you give kiddushin, so you don't become an onen when she dies. If you're a Kohen, you don't metamit to her funeral. She does not have the relationship where she becomes an onen. Mesa, if she dies in a yorsha, he does not inherit her. Mesu govak subasa. If he dies, though, she's going with the ksuba. Time of the mesu. Hamesa he ain't like ksuba. But if she dies, there's no ksuba. My time that because there's no fulfillment of if you marry somebody else, you'll get what because she cannot marry somebody else because she died. So if you give kiddushin only, you're not Yorish, you're Arusa when she dies. With Nesuin, it's different. That's the halacha. Amr Abaya, Zilu Amr go tell Shkila Tivusa Shad Yachziri. you're doing a toiva, it's like on the thorns. We don't have to be machzik toiva that you said this. He already told us this halach. But on Nukvin, the Evan Lecheminoi, there was also a t'nai that in the ksuba that the female daughters will be provided mazonas until they get married. Until they are married. The Levi Tanat Tibagra, until they go bogeres. The Rav Avagav the beggar. Does it mean if they became a bogeres and they are still not married, do they still get mazonas? I thought you said that if you're a bogeres, you give it up right away. The Levi Avagav the insit. And according to Levi, is it that even after they're married and they're not a bogeres, they get mazonos? Ella, no. It's either or. Beger velo insid. If they become a bogeres, even though they're not married, they give it up. Insid velo beger. If they got married before bagrus, they give it up. Kula amalo pligi. That they don't get. Ki pligi barusa velo beger. Somebody who didn't get nisuin, they just got kiddushin and is under bagrus. So Levi holds, since they have no nisuin, they're still under the father's right, and they get mazonos. Levi masnisa, the bagan v'yimtizim until they become a bogeres and they reach a time to become nisuin. Tarti, do you need two tanoim? Both? Ella, no. O tibagrin or yamtizim. It's either once they become a bogeres, they lose it, or once they get married, even an arusa. An arusa will eat, but once she gets nisuin, she doesn't eat. This machlokas Rav and Levi maybe is a machlokas tanoim. Adnosoi abasni zoynes. Acheteores. A girl gets mazonis from her father until she gets kiddushin. Mishum avlazar amra acheti bagir. No, until bagrus. Tony Rav Yosef adiyavin. Until you are given over to men. Now that's not clear what it means. Is it kiddushin and nisuin? Iboilu avide rusin or avide nisuin? So teku. So the halacha is if she's a bogeres, even though she's not gotten a rusin, or she got kiddushin without bogeres, then she loses mazonos. This is after the father's death when she's living off the estate of the Yisomim. The Ramah says if she's Nisares, when she's a Ketana, she doesn't lose it until she's a Nara.
What about eating truma from if his father's a Kohen? That same thing apply?
Now we learned you only get when you're Nisuin. You don't get that with Kiddushin. Because we're worried she's going to bring a cup of wine of Truma back to her brothers because she's still living in her father's house. Rav Yosef. Did you hear me, Rav Yehuda, whether Arusa Yesh Lamazonos or Ein Lamazonos? After the father dies and she's getting Mazonos from the brothers, does she lose that once she becomes an Arusa or not? Armalei, Mashmalo Shmiale, I didn't hear. Ela Mismara Leslie. Misfor, I would say she doesn't have. Why? Even the Irsa. Once her husband gave her Kiddushin, it's embarrassing that she's getting Mazonos still from the Yerusha, and he'd rather be Mefarnes him directly. If you didn't hear directly, I would say the opposite. Using logic, I would say she continues to get Mazonos from the brothers. Why should he pay for her if he's not living with her yet? The Baal. Other people say, I didn't hear, but Misfara Isle, from logic, I would say she still gets Mazonos. Because since he hasn't lived with her yet, he's not going to pay for her. Others say that as far as the opposite, that once he gave her kiddushin, he wants to provide for her. Simin de Gavri Shuk Zeref Manav Yibn Shnia Arusa Vansa. Boimini Rav Sheshes. Mima Enes. Yesh Lamizonos or Ein Lamizonos. You have a girl, a katana that was married off by her mother or brothers, and she did miyun. And she got rid of the nisuin there. She goes back to her father's house. And then father dies. So does she have mizonos from the Yerusha or not? Once she got married, like she loses all her mizonos, never goes back. Maybe since the miyun got rid of the nisuin, so she's still a katana and she can get mizonos from her father's estate. Armale Rav Sheshes to Nisua. Almona beves avia. If she's an almana, somebody gave her kiddushin and the guy died, or grusha beves avia, gave her divorce, or shemeres yovem beves avia, or Reuven died and she's waiting for Shimon to do yibum. So in all these cases, yesh la mizonos. She still has mizonos from her father. And Rabbi Yehuda Oimer, oide beves avia yesh la mizonos, and beves avia ein la mizonos. Now, it sounds like Rabbi Yehuda Hainu Tanakama, elalav, mima enes ikabinav. The nafkamina would be if she did miyun. The Tanakama suffered with miyun isla. Even though she did miyun, she goes back to her father's house and can get mizonos. Rabbi Yehuda suffered less late. As long as she's before Bogeres, the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch passing that she gets mizonos from the Nichsei Avia until she becomes a Bogeres, until she gets kiddushin from somebody else. Boy Rish Lakish, Bas Yavama. The mother got yibum and she had a bas, and then the Yavim died. So remember, he never married. Yeah. So there was the original Nisuin talks about Bonois, but not the Yibum. So Yeshlam is on Swaylam. Kivin Damar Ksubos on Nichse Bala Rishon. Since the Ksuba to a woman that was Yibumed, the Ksuba is paid from the first ball, then this new daughter that the woman had from the husband who did Yibum, there's no Leslie, there's no Mizonos. Since the Rabbanon made a takana that if there's no ksuba from the first husband, we made a takana that the second husband has to give her ksuba, maybe isla. So teku, it's a suffix. So ein labazu mizonos according to the poskim. Boy Rabbi Yezer Bashnia Yesh Lamizonos Ein Lamizonos. The daughter, if the woman married a man who's a forbidden relation to her, like a shnia, the nisuin are prohibited midivei chachamim. And there, the chachamim made a knas that there's no ksuba. Does the daughter get mizonos or not? Well,
What's that building behind? What's that building right behind you? That big building? Is that the building right behind you? One right over here.
that's a part of Wolfson.
Oh, that's part of Wilson. Oh, okay. And is that the bridge over there? That's the.
Okay.
Those are
Good
that's
night.
We're gonna be, yeah.
That's the
Good
bridge.
afternoon. Good night.
Oh.
Good night.
Hey.
Yaakov.
Hey guys.
Yaakov.
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 Morning, good morning.
Good.
Good morning.
Hi, Yaakov. Hi, good to see you. Good. You're looking sharp.
you.
You're looking good. Wow, good. Okay.
See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay, bye.